What is going on, YouTube? Coming back today with my next NFL Draft Scouting Report video. So I've already done Ezekiel Elliott and Derrick Henry, so today moving into the corners, we'll be doing Vernon Hargreaves tomorrow, and then Jalen Ramsey is the one I am doing today. So a little bit of background information, stats for Jalen Ramsey. He's a 6'1", 210-pound cornerback, was a senior out of Florida State, hometown Smyrna, I think that's right, Tennessee. So, some of his better strengths, he's got a lot of them, to be honest. I think he's I'd say best flat-out defensive player in the draft. Some people think just best overall player in the draft. I think that still belongs to Laramie Tunsil. But I think the first strength is he's a great press corner. He's just really good as a man, like a man press corner in general. I'm not sure if he's going to play corner or safety in the NFL. He played a lot of both in college. He could fit into either one in the NFL. He's got the size and range to do it. Second one, he's physical and athletic. Like I said, he can get up, play physical. He's a good man corner. He can play press, especially good against outside big receivers, possession receivers as well. The kid's just an athlete. He's an absolute freak in nature. He runs about a 4.4 flat 40. I believe clocked it officially 4.41. And a 41.5 vertical. So all the measurables are there for Jalen Ramsey. There's no reason why. I don't think there's any reason why he can't keep up with any of the big athletic receivers in the NFL. I'm talking about like the AJ Green, Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Marshall, Calvin Johnson when he was still in the league, that type. So third strength is he's a good tackler and a good pass rusher, I guess just a good blitzer. This is where his safety instincts kick in a little bit more. He might have the highest football IQ of any defensive player in this draft. He polished his skills off very well while he was at Florida State. He was the heart and soul of that defense, if not of that team this past year. I guess you could go with either him or Dalvin Cook. And he wraps very well. He doesn't tackle with arms. He tackles with body. Like I said, he's strong. He's athletic. He can chase down guys in the run game, and he also very rarely allows a guy to get behind him when he's playing press coverage and the receiver is staying in front of him, maybe running it underneath route. Very, very rarely gets past him. So next one is high character and work ethic. Like I said, he's extremely polished, has high football IQ. He's a great leader. He's got that it factor you look for in a football player. I think whatever team he goes to, he'll fit in well. He's that type of guy that will be able to adapt to any system you put him in. I don't think that, like I said, I don't know if there's a bad fit for him in the NFL. He's so versatile, and he's so good. Again, talked about as being the number one prospect in the draft. When you get these type of praises, then it better be deserved, and it definitely is for him. Wow, that got a lot darker. That's weird lighting. Anyway, next strength is he's got good ball instincts, and he can get up and break up passes. Like I said, the vertical is there, almost a 42-inch vertical, which is definitely in the top 10% of all players in the combine. Obviously, you want your corners to have good verticals, but a guy that's got that's 6'1" and can jump that high is what you want for a guy that could be an outside corner or maybe defending some of the best tight ends in the NFL if you want him playing at safety. With that speed, or with that closing speed, those football instincts, and that level of athleticism that he's got, he can also chase down runners. I think if he does end up playing safety, he will adapt to being a very good run stopper. To be honest, I didn't see a whole lot of him stopping the run in college. I'm not exactly sure how polished he is in that part of his game. But like I said, I think with his level of athleticism and football IQ, it's something that he wouldn't take too long to adapt to. All right, so getting to his weaknesses, not that many. First one is a little bit of a problem, and I hope it gets fixed in the NFL because it does bug a lot of the better corners in the NFL for the better parts of their careers. And the first one is he gets beat deep. So when he does let people get behind him, it can be a problem. He has a problem with kind of overplaying the ball at times. It's not a huge one, but a lot of times when he does get beat on maybe a corner route or a little stop and go, that's what he got beat a lot on this, really just any time in his career whenever he did. And I think it's something that can get fixed. I think playing a little bit less aggressively might help out a little bit with that. And maybe just fine-tuning the closing speed a little bit more when players get behind him. And maybe just adjusting to the NFL game a little bit more. So, second weakness is he's not great as a deep zone corner. He's not great as a zone corner in general. He's definitely more of a man coverage sort of player. I just think that the transition for him from receiver to receiver and having the patience to stay calm and stay in your zone and be able to defend your area without jumping the ball or jumping into the play wherever else he may seem. It seems like that's a problem for him. And again, I'd say if anything, if he does need to play deep zone corner for any team, that's probably the team that should stay away from drafting him. Third weakness is probably the smallest one, but it is still a weakness for him, and it probably should get fixed before he makes the jump to the NFL, and that is he struggles to stay with the route against fast receivers. If there's any time he gets beat underneath, it's when he's covering an inside route, and that's his zone, and he's playing against a very, very fast and crisp route runner inside. That's just, I don't think that's his game. Again, not something you want to throw him into when you have him playing as a deep corner or deep zone corner, or if you have him playing covering the inside or the flats against a very, very fast and slippery receiver that runs a crisp route. That's more of a quick linebacker sort of coverage, or smaller, quicker corner than a Jalen Ramsey assignment. Again, I think it's just about finding the right fit for him, and there are a lot of options available just for someone that plays man coverage so well, but also plays safeties at such a high level. All right, so that covers pretty much all his strengths and weaknesses. So when it comes to NFL projections, I think that pretty much every mock draft I've done with the order that the NFL draft is in right now, I have him going number 3 to number 3 to the Chargers. It's been talked that he can go number 1 to the Titans. I don't think the Titans are going to be looking to snag him at number 1. I think if the Titans do, if they don't take Laramie Tunsil, they're going to end up trading down. I don't think that they're going to take Ramsey at 1. I also think that there's a strong chance if the Browns stay away from a quarterback, then I think their next look is Jalen Ramsey at the 2 spot. I'm not going to get into naming all the trade scenarios for him to end up with other teams. That just takes entirely too long. But when you're talking about NFL projections, I'd say if he ends up in a good man coverage sort of situation, or he ends up playing maybe a little bit closer to line D as a safety, and again a man coverage scheme, especially if you pair him up with some of the bigger, better tight ends in the NFL, or some of the better, if you have him helping over the top again in a man coverage scheme against some of the better receivers in the NFL, I think either one of those schemes he will fit perfectly into and be a stud. Again, he's been talked about as being a generational talent and as being like a once every 5 years sort of defensive back. I think he's a future Pro Bowler, and I think he's got superstar written all over him as a defensive back. I think this is the best defensive back that's come out in a little while. Again, hard to find guys like this. When you're comparing him to pro players, it's honestly hard for me to find a comparison for him, just because when you go through the list of top NFL corners, it's hard. Richard Sherman comes to mind sometimes, but because Richard Sherman's not a great zone corner, but it is a valid comparison. Sherman is a very good man corner when you're talking about press coverage. Brandon Browner, at times, not as physical, but the athleticism and the ability to play man coverage, that one comes to mind. It's just when you think of guys like Patrick Peterson, Darrelle Revis, the comparison's just not really there. He's a little bit different. He doesn't get a whole lot of interceptions, even though he is very aggressive and has good ball skills. He doesn't have the best hands. All right, so that's pretty much it. If you've not seen my last 2 scouting reports, they will be in the outro, as well as the link to the entire playlist for the NFL Draft scouting reports will be in the description below. Like I said before this one, I did Derrick Henry and Ezekiel Elliott. tomorrow will be Vernon Hargraves, and that will wrap up my corners and then get into the last 6 after that. But that's pretty much it. See ya. Background information. I'm doing Ezekiel Elliott, by the way. Yesterday I did Derrick Henry, and today I'll be doing my last running back. And so go into some of his background information and stats from college. And he was a junior from Ohio State, left, 1 year with